council to do what is needful. I doubt whether many people will be involved in this new NHIA provision of services, pharmaceutical care, because you have to be reaccredited. If you have not done reaccreditation, which is going to come at a cost of about, I think 60,000 naira, and every 2 years you have to be reaccredited. How many of us are ready, especially with that bitter experience that we had, that people are not being given prescription? But I think the lacuna is allowed by our home council. In fact, a number of them have mentioned that, look, it's only your council that can stop us from dispensing from our in-house dispensary, for that matter, not even pharmacy, because they are being manned by either auxiliary nurses or technicians, especially for the private sector. And so what's my advice or counsel? Number one, we have to be ready. When I first started community practice about 22 years ago, you know, it's the state that will write a letter. You just need to bring your letter-headed paper, and then we go ahead and enroll in NHIS as it was then. We still have to go through the same route to make sure that our members are interested, and then they begin to apply. I believe we should be able to have, not less than, we are over 5,000, not less than maybe 1,000 of us in the next 1 year that will say we want to participate, because we need evidence, like we have said, to be able to have ourselves with and engage them. They are not going to let go on time, going by what I've seen in relating with the medics in particular. And because of that, we need to get our hearts in order. Then number two, pharmacy council must be ready to help us. They must inspect the hospitals. Without the inspection of the hospitals, the medics will continue to dispense from their places.
Thank you very much. Okay. Last person. No. Hold on, the past president. There's somebody already holding the microphone.
Good afternoon, Chairman and Supreme AGM. I was accredited 2005 and I started dispensing for NHIS then 2006. It actually was dispensing for 4 hospitals. I had an agreement with them to be paying monthly. But the main problem is the global capitation. Because immediately they collect the money, they spend it on other things, and they find it difficult to pay pharmacy. Then from the HMO, we are collecting the money 3 months ahead, while the hospitals were collecting 1 month ahead, and pharmacies were supposed to be collecting after dispensing. At a point in time, when I was the field sec of the ACPN National, I fought it that pharmacies have to pay online. I had to be paid upfront so that we'll be able to stop. But as long as we have that global capitation on, there's nothing we can do. And as long as the NAPCM2 registered from dispensing the name of pharmacy, there's really nothing we can do. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. The last person on this issue, so that I can proceed.
Mr. Chairman, sir, I Supreme AGM, I think we appear to be digressing. The problem, I'm not exculpating the PCN, but the problem here is not really the PCN, and I'm glad that the last speaker actually opened the pathway to what the real issue is. The real issue remains that under the NHIS statutes, there are 4 established payment mechanisms, which you all know: capitation for primary providers, fee for service for secondary and tertiary providers, and case payment is per diem. The real problem we have, and I'm not even talking about the broader picture now, I'm talking about community pharmacies. The real problem here is the payment mechanism employed. And I'm glad she hit the nail on the head. Right? Because global capitation is still in place. The implication therefore is that if the HMO pays these hospital facilities, and that's why PCN will not be able to resolve that problem. Because to start with, these doctors don't even want PCN to come into their facilities. Don't forget that there is a lot of politics of healthcare in this business. Today, it's a huge battle we're fighting presently at the National Assembly, that pharmacy facilities will not be launched for regulation and control under a National Health Facility Regulatory Agency bill. So we must play the politics carefully. What we need to do in court, and that's why you need that data. You need to go to court to prove that the NHIA is violating the law by not paying community pharmacies through the mechanism of fee-for-service. And that's what these people are telling you. The man who registers who never gets a prescription. Or the person who says, oh, I used to get prescription, and then, but they don't pay me until so time. That's why the fact that they collected money upfront. Don't forget, Simon, I'm sure you remember, because we both served on those committees. The arrangement was that each provider, whether you are a pharmacy or hospital, you are supposed to sign a service or contract agreement with the HMO. So it's the HMO that is supposed to pay you directly. That's not what they do. And that's why there's a lot of diversion. So if you are waiting until the day PCN will do a few things, you won't solve this problem. You need a pronouncement from courts to determine whether what they are doing is not a violation of the NHIA Act. And I think that's the fastest route. Thank you.
Thank you very much. On conclusion of this, there's another aspect. Most of the people that stood up, Gafar Amadi, Noye from pharmacist, Noye from Benue, and one other person. These are the people for community pharmacists nationwide. People that have been ruled years back, since 2004 and all that. They have never renewed. Our people are not even coming out to become a member. That is another issue. Most of the insurance issue now are different states, like Lagos is doing well now. Most of the state governments are also embarking on this insurance scheme and all that. We can do advocacy with council and all that, but our members are not. When we went to go to court, they say, okay, let me see people that are participating. All these people that mentioned their name, people that are, when they are under NHIS, they have never renewed up till now. A lot of our members nationwide are not doing that. So we need some of the evidence. That's why we need data. By the time you see people that want to participate, they will use it as what as their data as an information or whatever we want to do. We can apply to PSN, to PCN. We can also go to court and all that. These are what the information our legal partner asks us that we need to know that. We need to come out, even in the state level, we need to come out and participate so that we can have the robust data to fight whatever consumer to do. Thank you. Then I think we are done with matters arising from this. Aggregator platform, I've seen something about this. We say we took 10 days yesterday during and the course of the town hall meeting. And I've said that we are bringing all community pharmacies on board through our portal and aggregator platform so that we can be there like in junior. You can advertise the services you are providing, you can advertise your product in the aggregator platform. We can, if you come and market it to your clients and all that. So it is something of course, and we are working hard on that. So we move on to the agenda. We follow the agenda, national officers reports, and adoption of the reports. And we have been waiting for our external auditor that left. Yes, but we got the information yesterday that the man is ill and he's on his way. He couldn't make it to this place. He ended up in Benin, but he's fine. He couldn't continue the journey. That's the external auditor that we have presented our audit report. I believe we have it in our report here, but our internal auditor will do justice to that. That is why we encourage our state schools to put in their officers there in the bylaw. I believe by the time we harmonize the bylaw, the internal auditor, external auditor will be there. Whenever the external auditor is not there and will prepare a financial report, the internal auditor will do the presentation and will proceed. So I call upon the internal auditor for that, why officers should, financial officers should prepare to also give that report. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, sir, as Supreme Chair, let me respectfully submit this. It is certainly not good enough. Yes, health is very good. This presentation of account comes up only once in a year. If the external auditor is here, if he felt it wasn't fit enough, should have sent somebody else for this type of statutory assignment. You know, the danger about this, I hope you are listening, Chairman. The danger about this is that one of the most cardinal responsibilities you want to carry out at an AGM is not going to be achieved here today. Because it means your account for the first year was not approved by AGM if there is no external auditor. So, I think you need, I'm not blaming the man, but I think in future you must ensure, if you observe, in PSF for instance, they insist, the auditor comes a day before AGM.
Sorry, my past president.
Yeah.
He have only started coming. He
moved
yesterday to Benin.
I know.
They couldn't continue the journey. And the account have been audited with the FIJ. The auditor report is here. It's only the financial. All the audit report is in a financial report. It's just for him to stand before us and affirm it and learn what you have done.
Exactly what I'm
saying. So that's the only challenge we are having. And we got this information today. The hotel has been booked. We paid for yesterday and today.
You know I'm not the one who will make this difficult for you. But I'm saying let's do these things properly. It is only an external auditor who can stand before AGM and tell you, oh, I have gone through this account, they have done it, internal controls are okay, due process was observed, and all that. And that's what I'm saying, in future, please, just insist that you come in, whoever is going to handle this must come in a day before AGM.
Yeah, thank you, noted. Thank you very much, and that's how we have been doing that, sir. And past president has been coming.
Chairman, I think that this is an emergency situation, and that AGM must realize that in circumstances like this, there may be nothing you want to do or you can do. So I differ a bit to my brother here. I mean, you can't guide that man as much as making sure that they come. And if I understand you, if I understand what is happening, that he has left. I know that he got to Benin or had to reroute to Benin because he's not feeling well. So I think that there should be a way for AGM to accept this document, and then maybe through a Zoom meeting or something, you can get it approved when you get the auditor to appear in a Zoom meeting with abridged AGM to get it approved. So
thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Next meeting.
Next meeting.
Yes, you get him to appear and speak to here.
Thank you very much. Benga Olumare, fellow president. Okay. Sorry, I can see past president too. Hold on.
chairman and AGM, the matter we're discussing is very sensitive. And like he said, the chairman is in a circumstance he cannot solve the problem. The auditor is mandatorily supposed to appear before us in an AGM. It happens once in a year. And like my two past presidents have spoken, we will find a way to solve the problem. But a motion must be moved here that AGM is authorizing that the auditor must appear before NEC in their next meeting and then circulate that report, financial report to all of us. This is the only way to go, I think, so that we don't truncate the activities of today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Chairman, distinguished AGM, I am not a past president, but I was a past national secretary. And the truth of the matter is, this is annual general meeting. If there is a problem along the way, with the help of technology, he has written his report. He could have gotten somebody in his office or himself is fit enough to stand and do a virtual report for us. But then I will concur with last speaker, past president Tony Aine, that we can find a way around so that the AGM can move on. But let it be known that such should never again happen. And again, we have financial officers, not even the chairman now, who are supposed to work closely and ensure that this man is here, live and direct. So please, AGM, maybe a motion can be moved for us to make progress. But this is an aberration that we need to run away from, because we are talking about finance, which is the backbone of any serious society. Thank you. Thank you very much. Ms. Green AGM, can we just understand the situation? The situation like an emergency situation. We have this man work with financial officers, work the FIJ committee, and concluded on the report. We don't have any issue on the report. But on his way coming back, he had an emergency situation. And lying now in the hospital. I've been calling him, he cannot pick since yesterday. He's took his flight and every other thing. The accommodation is there. How do you expect somebody lying down in the hospital to make his presentation? If I give a negative report as far, maybe it's no more there. We will not be saying what we are saying now. But I'm trying to say, let us agree at the end of the day, way forward on where we can present, where he can come to present this report. Not that the man has not started coming. It is a report that has been concluded. So emergency is always emergency. So we cannot choose nature on that regard. Okay, can you now what suggestion to move forward?
Chairman.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman, and
Yes, I can hear you.
I think this matter has been well handled by your past presidents. You don't need to offer explanations because of explanations will not suffice. The way forward is we move that motion, and we need to move it now.
Yeah.
If you permit, I'll move a motion. If you permit, I just move that motion.
Go ahead and move the motion.
Okay.
Okay, motion. Ajero, yes, I can see Dr. Ajero is there.
Chairman, Supreme AGM, I remain Dr. Ajero Felix from Far East Imo. Mr. Chairman and Supreme AGM, I wish to most respectfully, in the face of this aberration and condition, and considering what has been pleaded on the floor of this House, urge Supreme AGM to allow in this motion that the financial statement be presented before or during the next meeting. I so move. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Second down.
Imam Beake, Anambra State. I so second. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We can now suspend the general auditor presenting that part of the external auditor. We can now call for financial officers report, please.
Chairman, National Chairman, sir.
Good afternoon, distinguished AGM. All protocols duly observed. My name is Pharmacist Obiageri, your National Financial Secretary. This is a summary of the financial report of the association between the period of 1st April 2024 to 31st March 2025. I wish to remind us that our conferences still remain the highest income generating venture of our association. The 43rd annual conference tagged Oluyole 2024. Total income generated for the conference is 266,483,412 naira only. Only as against 164,460,746 naira realized from 2023 conference. Big Heart 2023. This represents 38% increase in income generation. This increment will be attached to improvement in the drive of funds and increased company participation during that conference since it was an election year. There was an increased asset of 46,035,402 in fixed asset acquisition during the year under review. The expenditure for the financial year was 192,948,886 naira, only as compared to 160,805,64 naira, which was spent in the year 2023. Also, trainings that will help improve the practice of community pharmacies, such as vaccination, POCT, SUD, universal treatment in curriculum were carried out. And these trainings were highly subsidized by the association. Over 100 community pharmacies were trained by the UODC approved UTC or SUD program. About 70 community pharmacies took part in the vaccination training. General income and expenditure statement. General income and expenditure statement. Description, total income. This is a comparison between the 2025 and 2024 income, we had 266,483,412 naira as against 164,461,746 naira. So the variance was 102,021,666 naira. We had an increase of 38% variance. The total expenditure we had in 2025 192,948,886 naira against 161,803,064 naira. The variance was 31,145,822 naira. We had a 16% variance. Surplus on income before bank charges. The surplus on income before bank charges was 73,534,526 naira as against 2,658,682 naira in 2024. The variance was 70,835,844 naira, 96% variance. The other income that came to the association was 23,971,000. Then in 2024 we had 63,202,200. Then we had a negative variance there. The bank charges for the year was 559,260 as against 261,542. So the net surplus for 2025 was 74,676,811 naira as against 2024 that we had 4,104,008 naira. So the variance is 70,572,809 naira. We had a variance of 95%. In addition to the net surplus recorded for the year, the association also posted a generally improved bank sheet. In conclusion, distinguished colleagues, we as members of ACPN financial team have been able to track the financial activities going on in the association and have submitted necessary documents for proper audit by the external auditor. Farmer Gateway and FarmPay still remains the official payment channel for ACPN national capitation. Distinguished members of the NEC should encourage their members from various states to make payments via these channels. The number of our members embracing the approved payment gateway, that is Farmer Gateway and FarmPay, continue to increase following our extra push for their usage. Nevertheless, we are still worried over those still not using it, and we urge states to encourage them to use it. Our special appreciation goes to all our partners who have been supporting our conferences and various programs, even in the present state of the nation's economy. Finally, we cannot overlook the cooperation and overwhelming support from our dear members over the years. We say a big thank you for the confidence in us as financial officers, wish our dear association greater prosperity in the coming years. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you very much, National Financial Secretary. Thank you very much. This next report is National Secretary's report.
The report of the National Secretary of the Association of Community Pharmacists of Nigeria for the past year. Welcome. Good afternoon, distinguished colleagues. It is with great pleasure and a deep sense of responsibility that I welcome you all to this year's Annual General Meeting 2025. This gathering marks not only a time to reflect on the milestones we've achieved, but also a critical opportunity to chart our course forward with clarity, unity, and renewed commitment. As the National Secretary, I'm honored to present this report on behalf of the Secretariat and to acknowledge the tremendous work accomplished across our various branches. Today is a celebration of your contributions, your diligence, vision, and dedication, which have been the foundation of our progress. I extend a particularly warm greeting to our new members and first-time attendees. Your presence is proof of the growing strength and inclusivity of our association. Together, we continue to build a legacy that reflects our shared values and aspirations. Let us approach today's discussions with openness, integrity, and the spirit of collaboration. May this AGM be a productive and inspiring one for us all. Thank you once again and welcome. Kindly find below some of our significant endeavors. 1. Oluyole 2024 conference in brief. We enumerated all that took place in Oluyole conference, right from the attendance. Oluyole, the Association of Community Pharmacists, held its 43rd Annual International Scientific Conference at the University of Ibadan International Conference Center, Oyo State, from the 22nd to the 27th July 2024, under the theme, Advancing Community Pharmacy Through Innovation and Collaboration. The conference attracted the Executive Governor of Oyo State, His Excellency Engineer Seyi Makinde, FNSC, who was ably represented by the Deputy Governor, His Excellency Barrister Bayo Lawal. Other dignitaries in attendance were the Chief Judge of Oyo State, Justice Iyabo Yerima, the Honorable Commissioner for Health, Dr. Oluwaserimi Ajetumobi, the President of the Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria, Professor Cyril Lucifo, FPSN, past President and Chairman BOT of the ACPN, Dr. UNO Uwaga, FPSN, past Presidents Azubike Okwo, FPSN, Pharmacist Olumide Akintayo, FPSN, past National Chairman of the ACPN, including Sir Deji Oshinoiki, FPSN, DC Farm members, and from Dr. Ejiro Foibo, FPSN, DC Farm, Pharmacist Olufemi Adebayo, FPSN, DC Farm, Pharmacist Gilbert Alkali, DC Farm, and Pharmacist Dr. Samuel Adekola. So now, after careful evaluation of the papers and memoranda and motions at the AGM, the conference adopted the reflected resolutions. You can find this on page 28. 1. The conference acknowledged the community pharmacies are best suited to provide healthcare services to the largest segment of the population in every clime, which is why governments, donors, partners, and other stakeholders should identify community pharmacies as strategic executors in service delivery in the quest to attain universal health coverage. The communique also had the conference echoed the global expositions and norms that recognize community pharmacies as primary healthcare centers and reinforce the reality that National Health Act 2014 validates the status of pharmacies as health facilities in Nigeria. 3. The conference canvassed effective regulatory controls in the quest for good pharmacy practice, GPP. The conference welcomed legislative action in key areas like establishment of the federal and state task forces on fake and counterfeit drugs as the inherent weakness in the pharmacy and drug statutes. Encourage criminal elements and merchants of debt to get away with impunity in the pharma sector. The conference directed through its AGM that past chairmen of the ACPN shall no longer be eligible for appointments as CEOs of ACPN subsidiaries because of the propensity to generate entropy between the incumbent chairman and the past chairman. At the end of the conference, the following people were elected into NEC for 2024-25 year. It's listed there on page 29. During the year in focus, the National Executive Committee and National Executive Council meetings were held as scheduled. The attendance at the fiscal NEC meetings of representatives of the functional states is captured. That is on page 30. Now on page 31, we have National Working Committees is listed there and their chairmen. We have the ACPN properties, and then we have the ACPN official vehicles, the 2019 model Toyota Fortuner SUV and the 2022 model Toyota Hiace Bus. The pharmacy emblem. The month of October remains the emblem month for emblem awareness and promotion. Emblems are presently available at the cost of 150,000. We have on page 32 the ACPN Institute, the Community Pharmacies Assessment and Career Progression Institute, CPA-CPI, under the chairmanship of pharmacist Dr. Iyesheun Adeshogun Asieba, FPSL, MBA, MPH. The CPA-CPI was set up by the ACPN leadership to recommend a system for assessing and rating community pharmacists, which will be useful for recognition as well as career progression for all community pharmacists, the employed and the employer. We have our ACPN newspaper publications for 2024-25 on page 33, 34, and 35. Our ACPN cooperative has been operating efficiently and autonomously under the leadership of an elected management committee comprising following members. You can find that on page 36. On page 39, bereavements. It's with deep sorrow that we report the loss of some of our esteemed members during the year under review. The Association of Community Pharmacists of Nigeria extends its heartfelt condolences to the families, friends, and loved ones of the departed. May their souls find eternal rest, and may their families be granted the strength to bear these irreparable losses. Conclusion. In conclusion, I wish to express my profound appreciation to the ACPN Executive Committee, Executive Council, and to all our esteemed colleagues for their unwavering support, dedication, and professionalism over the past year. Your invaluable contributions have been pivotal in advancing our collective objectives and safeguarding the welfare of our members. Together, we have recorded notable achievements and significant milestones that reflect the strength of our shared vision and commitment. I look forward to building upon these successes as we continue to foster collaborative initiatives for the advancement of our profession and well-being of the communities we serve. Thank you once again for your steadfast commitment, tireless effort, and resolute service to the cause of community pharmacy in Nigeria. ACPN, empowering pharmacists, protecting the people. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much for that wonderful presentation. Supreme AGM, the officers' reports have been done. Can I call for a motion to adopt this report for a discussion, please? Motion adopt the officers' report for discussion before we proceed. Yeah, you can. We good is there.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, the Supreme AGM. Please, I have a very brief observation on the National Secretary's report. If you can permit me, let me refer this AGM to section 8.0. Okay.
No.
Okay, on that note, may I move for the adoption of the National Secretary's report?
Thank you very much. I don't know whether you... Okay, second down.
Okay, Biola Polosi, Lagos State, adopting the report for discussion.
Thank you very much.
Seconding.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Then comments from the financial report. Go back to fellow Biola Polosi. Is raising her hand. You want comment? You want question?
She says secretary's report.
Secretary report. Okay.
Okay, Mr. Chairman and Supreme AGM, I think maybe Chairman, you be in order. We can do it one at a time, either secretaries first, and then we follow it with financial. But maybe probably we first do secretary and then we go over to financial. On financial report, you know, as our dear National Secretary was rounding off, she mentioned bereavements. I think if some people have been members of this association for how many years, we can't just write their departure with 4 lines without listing them. I don't think that's right. Please, that must be updated. And I'm quite aware that this last 1 year, we lost a number of our honorable members. And so their names must be listed in this report appropriately. So that should be taken care of. Thank you.
Thank you very much. But I also want to note that those informations normally come from the Secretary of the State to the National Secretariat so that we can capture the names properly. And if we don't have those informations and the Secretary couldn't get some of them, it might not be captured. But I assure you that subsequent report, we will capture the name as you rightly suggested. Thank you very much. Yes, on the Secretary's report, I can say past president, Olumide Akintoye, raising hand.
Mr. Chairman and Supreme AGM, my comment is on the National Secretary's report. I want to believe this is a very good report. The quality is good, and I think the rendition was even more beautiful. But I'd like to draw your attention to section 262 of the report. That's about scaling scheme on page 32. Scaling scheme for community pharmacists practice.
Section 1.
I don't know whether you have seen it.
Yes.
Yeah, this classification is a fallout of a webinar held about a month ago. First is to say that you need to be very, very careful so that the information you have provided here will not be used against the profession. In Lagos State, where I practice, the major reason why we have not taken what was offered by Lagos State government is that Lagos State government, contrary to what they do contrary to global best practices and even what is obtainable here, would rather designate pharmacists as specialists instead of consultants. Now, if there is a reference document, an in-house document from us designating some of our members specialists, it can cause a big boomerang effect. That's the very first part of it I want you to see. But fundamentally, because we were trying to appraise this, I was not part of that webinar. So I seriously do not know the basis upon which you want to designate some people community pharmacists, specialists, and then they become senior specialists. For what I see globally is that as you advance in your career in community pharmacy, the chances are you become a pharmacy manager. You can rise from becoming a pharmacy manager to senior manager, general manager. In some instances, you become a partner. That's director level. So that, of course, it does not stop you from recognizing consultants, people who have passed through postgraduate colleges. So, but for those consultants, let them also pass through a gradient. They can start, like you see in the public sector, as consultant 1, then they become senior consultants and chief consultants. But do not let us use this lexicon of specialist in our career progression, because our friends in medicine will use it against us, and they will quote this document that even in your own profession, what you call them are specialists. So I think we need to look at that part again before we continue to advance on this pathway. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now I have BOF chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, my chairman, and AGM. I was on that webinar referred to. Most of us who are self-employed and who employ just themselves alone, which is where majority of us belong to, you progress from owner to owner to owner until you pass on to the next generation. But you need to look at business owners, those who run chains, those who employ pharmacists. Because you don't tell me what I'm going to call my progression. The first one was every ACPN member on that webinar sharing their thoughts. The next is to engage pharmacist employers for a buy-in. Otherwise, nobody will follow what you've done. It will be of no use. So you need to get a webinar from your Google form you did. Get those who are employing pharmacists. It might not even be pharmacists. Anybody who is employers. Sit down with them and tap their opinion. Then you can create a meaningful scale. Because I'm going to employ, I'm going to elevate you, I'm going to pay you. You can look at maybe time become a partner. It means something. So I'll begin to see a partner in my pharmacy. That at that point is going to have some recommended things you could tap in from. So I think just following up with Famolumide's submission, let's look at it again. Let's not be in a hurry to get a document we cannot implement. Thank you.
There are past presidents. Okay. Any other comments before we respond? Okay.
Mr. Chairman, In line with what my past president has said, and buttressed by the BOF chairman, we need to go back to the drawing board. Some of us have been privileged to have worked in the committees of the federal government. You cannot take one sector of the profession in isolation. We have worked so hard over the years, leaders, that before some of us were born, and we only come to add value to what others have done. And the point they raise is very germane. We must be consistent with what is up there. In fact, when we were fighting for FAMD, before FAMD came out, we had done some grading. We had done some grading. Pharmacy grade 1, grade 2, grade 3. We saw that from the medics, and it was accepted by the head of service of the federation, the then Mrs. Okereke, who was the head of service of federation. So for everything we do, we go up there to work for it and wait. And therefore, they must go back to consultant grade 1, nothing like specialist pharmacists, because this is what they have been telling us. Why can't you call yourself? I serve on the board of UCH. And my first 2 meetings was combative to say. Sometimes they tell me, this is not a PSM meeting. And what were we talking about? If you leave that school, if you live there, what are you going to be? Specialist? No, I'll be a consultant like you. And that was why the government set up a panel to go around this country and to grade pharmacists, doctors, and all that. Today, that document is missing because we couldn't have the muscle to pull it out. And they graded doctors 10.0, they brought us to 8.8, they brought the nurses 6 point something. They went around this country. The PSM went with them, did our job to make sure they did the right thing in 4 hospitals in this country. You know the hospitals. We have to somehow, let me not mention them. But what am I talking about? That we must be consistent with this kind of grading. If you allow these documents slip into their hands, they will use it against us. So let's talk about pharmacy grade, consultant grade level 1, consultant grade level 2, consultant grade level 4. And I want to step out to, I was just going to make an appeal on the financial report. The financial report has been presented by the financial team. The external auditor is not here. And AGM will allow for questions to be asked. Those who generated these figures are not competent to defend, validate the figures. Only the auditor will be able to answer some of those questions. So we allow members to raise questions on the financial report presented to us. And those questions must be well highlighted. And the day the auditor will face the next member, he must answer them and pass on to all of us on our general platform. If this is not done, then it's not concluded. And I hope AGM will accept this. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you on that. I think we need some explanation, especially on the issue that was raised on career progression. And I know my committee chairman is here, so that we're not to misunderstood the step or whatever we're going to do. We're only throwing a way of empowering our members, and we're not talking more or less on the specialist cadre and all that. So I call the chairman of this committee to explain more than before my IPC. They are members of this committee. Please, for us to understand.
Okay, thank you very much, the national chairman and distinguished AGM. My elders, thank you very much for your concerns. They are very well taken. And let me just mention that, just like the chairman has said, there's a desire to actually improve and ensure there's continuous development and progression for pharmacists. And this has been going on for quite some time. It's not just starting. It went through a series of review. However, this is a pilot. That's why we didn't go beyond that step 1 and 2. Okay, so this is a pilot, and we are planning for a stakeholders meeting soon, where we're going to review what we have done so far and how we're moving forward. But we've seen that we are piloting it, and there is prospects, you know, for us to be able to encourage our members to improve, to continuously develop, and also to be recognized. But your comments are very well taken,
and we will still take them back to the table because we have plans to actually still review. We have proposed level 1 to 5, but we saw that we go beyond that. We can't, we would need to have some physical assessment. Let me also say that before now there was actually the COPA 1 to 3 that has been in place, and that is looking at the premises. We were working with FIP, working with the PCN and all that to see how we can put that one in place. So just to say that your feedback is well taken, but we're going to, by the time we have the stakeholders meeting, we finalize anything, but we're all out to improve the practice and to encourage development and progression in pharmacy practice. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much. Okay, the past president Azubi Kokwo, before my IPC, so that we can go to financial report comments, please.
Chairman, I want to commend you. I mean, watching the galaxy of activities of this executive and even the one before you, we cannot but commend you. But I've been watching to see any of the programs that are targeted to our young pharmacists joining us in this place. I recall 40 years ago that my first year practicing in the community, I started attending conferences. I don't know how many people here are just 1 year old from graduation and are with us. And that if we don't do that, if we don't target some of the programs to picking them young to join, and in fact, even in programs like this, create a space to talk to them, create a space to welcome them, dinner or lunch, breakfast meeting with those who are 1 year and 2. Some of us at this side of the table, I don't know how many more years we have, and we go some other place, and there might be a void. We may not have people to replace us. We may not have enough young people to replace us. So I bet you, and I urge you, to please design a special program for young, very young community pharmacists. I don't even mind sponsoring 10 community pharmacies every year from different parts of the country. You can actually create, some questionnaires, some things to pick 10 or depending on your funding.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay.
Okay, so thank you very much, our national chairman and the AGM. I still want to speak on this scheme for community pharmacists practice. And I want to commend all the people who have commented on it. Those comments are well noted and they will be taken into consideration. However, please let's note that we are talking about private practitioners and not public. The second, for every of the band, it is preceded by community pharmacists. So we are not talking to the people, we are not talking to the civil service progression in Nigeria. And even at that, the word consultants still appears here. So I believe we are on to something that is laudable. FIP has even accepted that we make a presentation on it so that they can see whether it is something that... The problem with us as practitioners is that from day one, you enter community pharmacy service as superintendent pharmacy. If 10 years down the line, you want to join another practice, they will still rate you like a baby pharmacist. The salary scale, there is no difference. The specialization, there is no difference. And when you ask for specialization, yes, there are specialization in community pharmacy that is not even up to the consultant level. So, for example, people are doing universal treatment curriculum for drug abuse now. That's an area of specialization. Some people are doing extemporaneous preparation. It's also an area of specialization. And if I'm a community pharmacist, I'm looking for somebody to onboard to my system to come and help. I know I'm deficient in any of this area. I will look for one of those specialists to come on board. Or just to please look at the scheme. We are going to do enough robust stakeholders engagement. This is a work that has spanned almost 18 months to develop to this stage. and we have had contribution from so many people. So I want to urge us to please be patient with us. We will come back to you and run these ideas with you. And if there's any need for modification, we are ready to accept. But please take note that we have community pharmacist band 1, we have senior community pharmacists, we have community pharmacist specialists, community pharmacist senior specialists, and then we have community pharmacist consultant. Because indeed, I even know that in the hospitals, it is not when you finish your postgraduate study